It had been an unusually quiet evening when Sarah moved into the old Victorian house, the kind of place that seemed abandoned by time itself. The walls were thick, the floorboards creaked with every step, and the air smelled faintly of mildew. Still, Sarah was drawn to it. The price was right, and she needed a fresh start after the messy breakup and her job loss. It was perfect, or so she thought. The first few nights were peaceful, the kind of quiet that makes you feel like you're the only person in the world. But then, on the fourth night, Sarah began to hear it. At first it was just a faint sound, whispers, soft, hushed voices that seemed to seep through the walls. She thought it was the house settling, the pipes rattling, or maybe just her imagination playing tricks. After all, it had been a stressful few weeks. But the whispers didn't stop. On the fifth night, they grew louder. She was in bed, drifting off to sleep when the voices became clearer. It was a low, unintelligible murmuring, a faint rasp that crawled under her skin. She sat up, heart pounding. The room was still. The only sound was the ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway. She leaned forward, listening, and then a voice, clear, unmistakable, whispered her name. Sarah. Her blood ran cold. The voice wasn't from the walls. It was coming from inside the room. Frozen, she strained her ears. The voice continued, its tone low and almost pleading. Help us. Sarah. She jumped out of bed, her heart racing as she turned on the light. The room was empty, save for the shadows that clung to the corners. There was no one there. Her breath came in quick, shallow bursts as she looked around frantically, trying to make sense of what was happening. The whispers didn't stop, though. They seemed to move, shifting like a breeze, circling her. She could feel their presence, like cold fingers trailing across her skin. The sound of scraping grew louder, closer. It was coming from the walls again. She backed away, eyes wide in terror. Sarah, help us. Panic surged through her as she grabbed her phone, dialing the landlord. The phone rang and rang, but no one answered. She could hear the faint scraping noise again, louder this time. It was coming from the wall by her bed, as though something was trying to claw its way out. Bang! She screamed and dropped the phone as the wall trembled. A section of the plaster cracked, and a chill gust of air swept through the room. There, in the crack, was something moving. Twisted, pale fingers emerged from the wall, their nails scraping against the wood as they reached for her. She ran, her legs trembling as she bolted for the door. The whispers turned into desperate screams, growing louder, more frantic. Sarah, you can't leave us! She wrenched open the door, but the house didn't let her escape. The hallway stretched endlessly, and every door seemed to lead to another. The whispers echoed from every direction, surrounding her, closing in like a tightening vice. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't move. And then, through the darkness, a figure appeared. A woman, pale and hollow-eyed, with long, tangled hair that seemed to float around her like mist. She stood at the end of the hall, staring at Sarah with hollow eyes. The woman's lips parted, and the whispers grew deafening. You should never have come here. The figure lunged toward her, and Sarah screamed. The last thing she heard was the sound of the woman's voice, right in her ear. Welcome to your new home. The house was never empty. It had always been waiting for someone to hear its whispers, someone to free the souls trapped within its walls. Sarah had arrived, and now she was part of the house's secret too.